Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dive into 5 completely ordinary, seemingly harmless daily habits that are silently but surely degrading our focus, our memory, and our overall brain health. I mean, we all want to operate at our mental peak, right? But without even realizing it, our modern routines are just constantly working against us. Let's do a quick symptom check right out of the gate. Have you ever unlocked your phone and immediately just completely forgotten why you picked it up in the first place? Or maybe you've read an entire page of a book or a long email, only to reach the bottom and realize you haven't retained a single word. Look, it happens to the best of us, and usually we just brush it off as being a little tired.
But here's the absolute bombshell. While these little moments of brain fog might feel incredibly normal, top neurologists warn that there are actually crucial indicators of early brain damage. Crazy, right? And the driving force behind this cognitive decline? 5 specific everyday habits. So let's just dive right into it.
Kicking off our countdown at habit number 5, multitasking. It's something we've actually been conditioned to wear as a badge of honor, but in reality, it is the ultimate enemy of focus. Here's the thing, multitasking actually forces your brain to perform 2 high-energy tasks at the exact same time. Think about texting while you're eating, or quickly checking your social media views while you're trying to study or get some deep work done. When you ask your brain to juggle like this, you're pretty much guaranteeing that neither task gets your full actual capability. Picture this simple little experiment. If you sit down and write the letters A through Z, and then the numbers 1 through 26, it might take you, maybe 35 seconds? But if you try to multitask, writing A, then 1, then B, then 2, just alternating back and forth, it suddenly takes almost double the time, hovering around 55 seconds. Context switching drastically slows down our processing speed because the brain never actually gets to enter a deep focus mode. But the real danger here isn't just a few lost seconds. It's what we're actually training our brains to do. By constantly multitasking, we are teaching our brains that giving only partial attention is the normal way to function. Over months and years, your brain's literal focus muscle actually shrinks. Deep focus becomes nearly impossible, making truly great work completely out of reach. Because that level of output, it absolutely requires monotasking. So what's the immediate antidote to reclaim your cognitive power? It's all about taking back control of your environment. Do this right now. Step 1, open your phone settings. Step 2, go to notifications. Step 3, turn off all non-essential app alerts. Seriously, stop letting these apps tap you on the shoulder all day without your permission. You have to protect your focus muscle. Moving right along up the countdown, we're actually going to group habits 4 and 3 together, because they both deal with the highly toxic ways we consume digital content in the modern age. So let's look at doom scrolling. We all know it. It's the act of picking up your phone, promising yourself, just 2 minutes, and suddenly losing 30 minutes to an endless void of swiping. It's this deeply relatable irony. We do this after a long day to supposedly rest, but we end up completely, totally mentally drained. To really get why this is so exhausting, I want you to imagine your brain is a giant house with a bunch of different rooms. One for food, one for comedy, one for news. With every single swipe on your feed, your brain energy frantically sprints into a completely new room. Food, then a dance trend, then breaking news, then fitness. Doing this nonstop leads to severe brain exhaustion, which is cleverly disguised as rest. Look, you absolutely cannot just rely on willpower to beat thousands of Silicon Valley engineers who designed these apps specifically to hook you. You need a system. I highly recommend a 12-hour digital fast. Using an app like Opal, you can create a daily schedule to automatically block social apps from, say, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Give your brain the gift of silence and just force it to disconnect. And that leads us straight into habit number 3, digital junk. If doom scrolling is about the sheer quantity of time, digital junk is all about the quality of the content. This is the empty, zero-value content that completely hijacks our mental bandwidth without giving a single positive thing back to us. Mindless gossip, fake paparazzi setups, aggressive internet arguments, it's all junk. Think about this question for a second. If you wouldn't feed your body a diet of exclusively junk food, why on earth are you feeding your brain a diet of digital junk? You wouldn't force-feed your body fried samosas and sugary sodas all day, every day, and expect to feel great. Yet we do exactly that to our minds with the content we consume. And the science absolutely backs this up. There was this fascinating study with 63 young adults, dividing them into two groups. One looked at a normal social media feed, and the other looked exclusively at junk food content. Get this, the junk feed group actually reported higher stress, deeper sadness, and even physical cravings for unhealthy food. The takeaway is profound here. You don't just consume the content consumes you. The solution isn't to quit digital media entirely, but to upgrade your diet to high-value, transformational material.
All right, we are down to the final two. Habit number 2 is being glued to your chair. If I asked you right now what the unhealthiest thing in a room was and gave you the choice between a cigarette, a glass of alcohol, a giant burger, or a chair, you might be pretty surprised to learn that this modern staple is silently destroying our cognitive function.
The real culprit is that we're basically playing a lifelong, incredibly low-energy game of musical chairs. Our daily cycle just goes from the bed, to the car, to the desk, to the sofa, and right back to the bed. This severe lack of physical movement basically guarantees a sluggish, fog-filled brain where even simple decision-making feels incredibly difficult.
If you want proof of how vital movement is for the mind, just look at this incredible study out of Duke University. They took depressed patients and split them up. Group 1 took antidepressant pills. Group 2 just did daily exercise. After 4 months, the results were totally identical. Both groups saw significant improvement. Movement is a literal medicine for the brain, matching the efficacy of clinical treatments.
So the big takeaway here is that physical movement isn't just about building muscle. It literally triggers your brain to release these essential happy hormones like endorphins, dopamine, and serotonin. These are the chemicals that uplift your mood and make you feel motivated. Without movement, these chemicals simply aren't produced, leaving you feeling super mentally fatigued. Okay, we have made it to the climax of our countdown, the number 1 most damaging habit. And let's be honest, almost everyone is totally guilty of this one. Habit 1, ignoring sleep, which is the brain's real cleanse. Let me ask you something. Are you repeatedly hitting snooze on your alarm every morning? Are you practically relying on tea or caffeine just to survive your workday? Or do you find yourself forgetting someone's name literally 5 minutes after they introduce themselves? These incredibly common daily struggles are directly linked to the physical state of your brain after a bad night's rest. Well, prepare to have your mind blown. While you were sleeping, your brain cells literally, physically shrink by up to 60%. Now, this isn't damage. This shrinking intentionally creates space between the cells so that a special liquid called cerebrospinal fluid can flow through and wash away all the toxic waste that has accumulated from all your thinking and working during the day. So, when you cut your sleep short, you are literally stopping this essential brain shower before it even finishes. In the short term, this immediate buildup of waste causes that instant memory loss and brain fog we just talked about. But in the long term, the damage is severe. The unwashed toxic waste, which is known as beta amyloid, builds up and is heavily linked to devastating diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. The fix for this is non-negotiable. You absolutely need a minimum of 7 to 8 hours of sleep. But beyond just the total duration, you really have to prioritize the golden window of sleep. This happens between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. This specific window is when your brain and body perform their deepest, most restorative cleaning and repair. If you're awake during this window, you are missing out on the heaviest lifting your body does all day. Wow, okay, we've covered a ton of ground in this explainer today, all the way from the myth of multitasking to the absolute necessity of the brain shower. Your brain is truly nature's most precious gift. It's the engine of your entire life. So the big question is, now that you know exactly what's draining it, will you start protecting it today? Take these actionable steps, reclaim your cognitive power, and give your mind the care it actually deserves.